The final chapters of David Reimer's latest book are left unfinished. His conflicted life cut short last week by a tragic suicide. Reimer's story made international headlines. He was the victim of a bizarre gender experiment, a boy forced to live his childhood as a girl. Now, his mother is speaking publicly about her son's life and her own. Janet Reimer says she wants to finish writing his story as well as share a mother's pain. Here's the CBC's Jennifer Rattray.
He was so humanitarian. He loved animals, he loved family, and he loved children very much.
Janet Reimer sees the smile on her son David's face, but she knows what it's hiding. A painful lie, a lie that haunted him, ultimately to his death.
We knew he wasn't long for this world, that his life would be a short one.
Reimer is still reeling from this painful prophecy, but she wants to tell the story as a tribute, she says, to her son. Winnipeg in the mid-60s, Janet Reimer was a typical homemaker, busy with 2 baby boys. And then a bizarre twist that forever changed their lives. Both boys were circumcised, but in David's case, there was a mistake. His penis was almost burned off. Janet had no idea what to do. Then she read an article about this man, Dr. John Money, a sociologist from Johns Hopkins University, who had a radical idea that boys could be raised as girls, that nurture was stronger than nature.
We've been stereotyped in our view of male and female.
And I thought maybe this was a possibility for David to have a gender identity that was definite. And so I wrote to him, and he responded very quickly. He was very, very interested.
The family went to Baltimore. David had minor surgery to repair the damage, began taking sex hormones, and became a girl, Brenda. No one was to know the truth.
I don't understand it to this day, but we also were afraid of the world, and we hid as a family.
Not so John Money. He made world headlines with the case.
It makes it very exciting, don't you think, to live in an age of discovery of human personality this way.
Except Money was wrong, and Janet realized it early on.
I lied to myself. I pretended it was going to work. But when he was 2 years old and I put him in a dress, he tried to rip it off. Then I thought, oh my God, he doesn't want to be a girl.
David or Brenda knew he was different. He felt like a boy, looked like a boy, yet was dressed like a girl. And as David later told the CBC, he was teased without mercy.
Well, it was many used. It was, caveman, it was freak, it was, stuff like that.
Desperate, Janet looked to Dr. Money for guidance.
And I asked, what happened to those people that the experiment had been done on? And he said most of them committed suicide. And I said, I will not allow my son to commit suicide. I will protect him.
When David was 14, he was supposed to undergo a complete sex change operation. Instead, he learned the truth.
His father told him that he had been born a boy, that there had been an accident, and Dr. Money had suggested that he be changed into a girl.
The lie was exposed.
Well, I was joyful because he was more content. And that's all I wanted for him, for both my boys, just to find contentment and joy in life.
For a while, they did. David got a job, got married, adopted his wife's children, and in the late 90s made the decision to go public with his story.
When I was in that situation, I thought I was all alone. I had nobody. These people have one thing that I never had, and that's the confidence that they're not alone.
That was his mission in life, to enlighten the world, for doctors to keep away the knife, at least until the child is old enough to make their own decision as to whether they want surgery or not.
His story became a book, and David became famous.
He didn't want any more children to suffer the way he had. And he got a lot of response, and many women wrote in to say that their children had been spared because of his story.
But the family could never escape the past. 2 years ago, David's twin brother Brian committed suicide.
He was very, very close to his brother. And when his brother died, he would go to the gravesite nearly every day, bring flowers, pick weeds, and spend time talking to him.
David, too, struggled with his demons.
Shame, embarrassment, to be forced to wear a get-up as a girl, and being ashamed and wanting to fall in an earth crack and die.
Then, last Christmas, David had a dream, and Janet feared the worst.
He had a dream that the skies opened up, and there waiting for him was his brother Brian and his grandma and grandpas, and many people that he described that he hadn't seen since he was 8 years old, that were there waiting for him. I knew then that he wouldn't be here long.
She was right. Last week, David Reimer killed himself.
I knew why the police were coming to the door, and I started screaming, "No, no, no." My husband came. They told us to sit down. They said they had some bad news. And I knew David was dead.
Today, Janet Reimer is left with pain and loneliness, but she also has a mission to finish writing a new book that David had begun.
My son gave of himself all he had, right to the end.
For The National, I'm Jennifer Rattray in Winnipeg.
And a footnote about this story. We contacted Dr. John Money's office in Baltimore.